I am Marcie Belfie, and I'm a professor here at Wells College in the Department of Education. And I'm going to talk to you today about engaging millennials in big picture issues through the use of instructional technology. So how many of you are professors right now? Okay, so looks like about half. So half of you are in other sectors. So this may only apply to half of you unless you go and you give presentations as part of what you do. So this could apply to lots of different audiences. So first we're going to look at what disengagement looks like. This is what we don't want. And then I'm going to share with you some current research on student engagement. And then we'll talk about instructional technology, how you can use it in your classes, and I'll give some student examples. And then I will share with you some feedback of what students are saying from some techniques that I tried this past semester, and then we'll have a conclusion and wrap up. Okay? So first, what does disengagement look like? Isn't it awesome when you teach a class or you give a presentation and everybody shows up and you ask questions and more than just that one person answers? How many of you have that? You ask a question and only that one person raises their hand? Yeah, I don't like that. And people laugh at your jokes and they're interested in maintaining eye contact. That's just wonderful. That's what we live for, right? When we teach. And isn't it horrible when you go to teach and half your class isn't there? And it's always, no, I won't say that, never mind. And no one raises their hands, or they're on their phones or sleeping. So let's talk about disengagement. There are about 6 from the study of Sato and Smith in 2017. Absences, people are just not showing up, or they come in halfway through the class, or they're late. Unresponsiveness, that's where you ask a question and nobody answers, or you just have that one student always answering. Neglect and forgetfulness. So they show up to class, they don't bring their papers, they don't have the readings with them, forgetting assignments and deadlines and things like that. And then indifference. Sleeping in class, daydreaming, not taking notes. They're just not really there. They're sitting there, but they're not really there. Oops. Inaccuracies. This shows up in the end products where you give an assignment and clearly the student didn't actually read the directions on the assignment, even though maybe you went through it with them in class. I give weekly questions over the reading, and some students will just answer what they want to answer and not really what I asked them, like, did you read or did you not? So that's inaccuracy. Maybe they're just not they're not doing everything that they're supposed to do for the assignment or not paying attention. And rudeness is the one that I hate the most. Where they're just they're talking to each other in class, or they're ignoring when you ask them, please be quiet, or just sitting there. I had a student and she would show up sit in the front row, always on time, did everything great for the whole class. She's just, I'm not kidding, right at me. It was just horrible. I mean, she was an A student. What can I do? So those are the things that we don't want to see in class. So let's talk about engagement and how we can get students more engaged in these big picture issues. And wow, on my screen it displayed beautifully. So just try to ignore that. So I've conducted a literature search in the past 5 years. I was looking at studies that specifically showed student engagement, what we can do to get students more engaged. And studies that I found used survey methodology, student surveys, interviews, and focus groups. So that's the kind of data that I gathered. Let's see. And over looking through all of the responses and categorizing them, 4 main themes emerged from all the different ones. So these are the main themes that we'll look at a little bit more closely. So the first one is instructor dispositions. Students overwhelmingly are more engaged when they have a caring, passionate, and enthusiastic instructor. So our disposition is one of the biggest factors for student engagement. The second one is individual attention. Students really want individual attention from their instructors. They want the instructors to be personally interested in them. And that goes a long way to promoting engagement. And the third one, students want to have opportunities to interact with instructors who are knowledgeable, approachable, and well prepared. And what is approachable? Anybody have any ideas on that? They didn't really go into detail saying that, but how can you be approachable to your students? Yes?
Office hours.
Office hours! You have to actually be there, right? And have your door open. Anything else?
Tell them to call you by your first name. Yeah?
Oh! Call me by my first name. I don't know. That is very approachable though, yes. What else?
Try to set up meetings individually with each student, even if it's only 5
Yes.
minutes to make that connection.
Yeah, I try to do that. I try to make it mandatory. Everyone has to meet with me one time in the first couple of months. I really didn't have a way to enforce that, but it did help a lot. Yeah.
When you say individually, I actually found it often, especially the first time, to meet in small groups.
Small groups, yeah.
But because they get the individual attention, you could listen to them, you'd answer their questions, but there'd be some reinforcement. And then they'd go away, they'd have new friends.
And I like that a lot because building that classroom community is really important. Students like to get to know each other in the classes, and oftentimes they need an excuse to be able to talk to each other, right?
How big a class are you talking about?
Sorry, what?
How big a class are you talking about?
Well, you know, I guess it just, yeah, it does depend. I don't have any classes this large. My largest class would be about 22, because we're a really small university. But yeah, that would be a factor if you had a big auditorium. That would be difficult.
I was a graduate, did you call me?
Yeah.
I was a graduate professor. My chairman came to me and said, I got a problem that somebody teaching global, which was our freshman introductory environmental course, quit, and he asked me to do it, and I said no, but then I did, and I loved it. And I would teach 120 students.
Wow.
And I want anybody who's a teacher, who cares about this, who knows a teacher, to email me and ask me about materials and syllabi and whatever for this course, and books out there, of course, there's two of them. But the important thing, I think, is to get the students to read, which is tough.
Yes.
And then to talk about the reading.
Yes.
And the way I do it is go see the movie The Paper Chase.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would start the first 10 minutes of my freshman class, 120 students in a class, but I had a classroom where you could walk up and give the fisheye to every single student. And you ask them questions, and if they got it wrong, but had done the reading, and you can find that out pretty easily,
Yeah.
no problem, no problem. You know, but what's the main point of the reading? But if they hadn't done the reading, they went on my shit list, and that's what I called it. And when they're on the shit list, they get called every day until they have shown me that they're doing the reading.
I hope you got something different than
I had
that.
hundreds of evaluations saying, my God, I hated this class when I first came in there, but when I got used to it and did the reading I was supposed to,
Yeah.
I found out that I loved it. And I don't know what the one that didn't love it.
How many pages did you ask him to read per night?
Chapter. The chapter, that big thick book out there, a chapter a night, more or less. And we also use guns, germs, and steel to, you know, make it kind of fun, and sometimes signs and all kinds of things.
Did you have a comment?
Well, Carl, are you done or no? Are you done or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlie wants to come up. Charlie wants to come up.
I don't think I was ever on the shit list, thankfully. Learn your students' names.
Yes. Yeah. And what a challenge in 120. Okay, Kim was next.
I gotta tell you this. Take a piece of paper, divide it in three, and have them write their name and put it there.
That's what we do. Yeah, I do that every class. Yeah, Ken?
Yeah, not all meetings should be formal and scheduled and set up. Sometimes the best conversations are in the hallways,
Yeah.
or walking across the grass, or down by the lake, or
Yeah.
invite your students to conferences.
That's good. Yes?
With meet and greet, I have them do an introductory survey, and it's not just like, are you a freshman, what's your major, it's like, where's your hometown?
Yeah, that's great. I used that to find out, I found out 3 students in my class were from Texas, which is where I'm from. So I love doing that. Like, oh, you're from Texas. Okay, let's talk. So that goes right into having a relationship. Students want to have a relationship with their instructor, and they want to talk about topics other than class. Yes?
I taught a class, 18 students, and I started each class with a question like yours. And they wrote down their answer in 2 or 3 sentences. And then they passed you roll the dice, and they passed their paper so many digits to the right. And then you had somebody else read your answer.
Oh, I like that. And did you have their name on it?
No.
No.
Well, everybody knew it was.
Everybody knew, yeah.
But the fact was, they knew that their answer might be the one that's read.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the answer to it.
And I like to start, especially in the beginning of the semester, I'll start the first few classes with an icebreaker. Just something totally, not related to the class to get that spirit of community. And that would be difficult in a big auditorium-sized class. So. But you can be creative. Yeah. Okay, so those are the instructor dispositions that came up through the literature. So second category is prep, and I made this category because these are the things that came up that you're not really doing in class, but you're doing it to get ready for the class. Students really want study guides. They want handouts from the materials that you go over in class. They want review notes for exams. So that's one. Second one is really big. They would like to have short blocks of information presented at a time. I don't know about you all, but for me, sitting in a class for my graduate degrees, they're all 3-hour blocks. And after 20 minutes, man, I'm gone. I need to doodle, I need to have snacks to eat, I need to be sitting with my buddies, and I just need something different. I cannot just focus. And so what I did this last semester, while I was lecturing, after every few slides, I would put up, a quiz time. It would be a special slide of a game, make it like a game, and I would ask either a question from what I'd already covered previously, or I'd ask questions as a preview for what I was going to cover. And students are supposed to come to class already having read the material, so I could tell really fast, did you read, did you skim, did you really understand? And then I got feedback at the end of the semester, and students really liked that. At first, they were kind of a little bit stressed out. What do you mean quiz? I'm like, it's just for fun, it's not for a grade, calm down. And then they really liked that because it broke up the lecture into stuff. And so the last one for prep, students reported that they would like to have an emotional connection to the course content. And this can be done through personal stories that we intersperse throughout the class. A lot of you probably really like telling personal stories, and it's easy. For me, I was a teacher, and so in my field is education, so I had a lot of stories to tell. I was a special education teacher, and I worked with some really violent kids with behavior problems, so I have a lot of interesting stories to tell. Students really like that. They like it when you're passionate about the topic and you can tell a funny story, so it's not just, here's what we're learning from our reading, things like that. So those are the 2 categories. The third one, this is the largest. This is in-class engagement. Students reported that they really like having in-class and hands-on activities. And so I'm just going to read you some examples of these. So you could have student presentations, peer critiques, debates, team projects, service learning, field experiences, demonstrations, simulations, or case studies, case method approaches. You can do a lot of those things. And there's a higher level, let's go to the next one. You can also do interactive games and quizzes, and these sort of go hand in hand. All of these sort of overlap with each other. Higher levels of engagement were reported when instructors use games and quizzes. So this is kind of similar to interspersing quiz questions in the lecture slides, but you could have teams participate for points. That would be fun. You can use free online technology. I'm going to give a demo in just a little bit of one of the ones that you can use online. Number 3, students really want teachers to teach to the visual learning style. I can attest to that. I can't really remember just hearing people talk. My mom, she'll give me directions over the phone somewhere. I'm like, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. Send me a map, draw me a picture, show me something I can see, then I can remember it. If I see it written down, if I write it down myself, I'll remember that. So you can use video and audio to capture and maintain students' attention. I tried this also, just putting in 2 or 3 minute video clips that go along with what I'm talking about. Students really like that a lot. So the fourth one is working in small groups. Students reported they like to work in small groups and have background music playing. And so the use of cooperative learning and project work can also promote higher order thinking. And so this leads us into, my number started over, that's actually number 4. So number 5. Students really expect to talk more and hear from others. They want to hear, they want to share their experiences and share their viewpoints, not just hearing us talk to each other. And I actually got this feedback this past semester. One of the students said, for my discussion-based class, she really enjoyed hearing what others in the class had to say. So the last one, oh, it just cut off. But that's it, you can see it. The last thing, students really want what we teach in the classroom to relate to what's going on in the world. And so this goes back to the big picture issues that we really want students to care about. How can we bring what we're doing in the classroom to what is actually going on in the world? And better yet, they would like it to relate to their own career goals. So I had this one student, and I talk about her a lot. At the beginning of class, she told me, "I hate your class." Oh, thank you. Why would you tell a professor that you hate their class? That's bad. I said, what can I do? You know, what can I do? This is like after the first day. Kid, you're interrupting my story.
Okay, but just tell them if you don't piss somebody off, you're not doing your job.
I don't work on that. I don't work like that. I want everybody to love me. So, like, what can I do? She's like, nothing. I have to take this class because it's a requirement, you know. And I said, well, you know, I want to make it fun, you know. And she said, well, I want to be a doctor, and I'm not interested in education. So I made it my goal to make my class relevant, to relate what we were learning to her career. Because it does. We're, you know, education and the medical field, there's a lot of overlap. There's a lot. And by the end of the semester, she wrote me a really nice evaluation. And so I did my job. All right, that made me happy.
But did it turn everyone else off?
No. I wasn't just teaching to her, because she was the same one that was this the whole time, you know. So, no. And the last category is outside of class. So these are events that are part of your class but don't necessarily happen within the 4 walls of the classroom. Students really like having a field trip. They report there's higher levels of engagement when you can have a field trip in your class. This goes back to making it relevant to what's going on in the outside world. I don't know about y'all, but growing up, wasn't one of the field trips the best day ever? Unless you had one of those bad ones where something terrible happened, but you get really excited about field trips. So do students. And then online learning is a really big deal. Students really want schools to help them make better use of online learning. They're on their laptops a lot. They reported that online quizzes help them better prepare for the class. They like to do media learning, and they want schools to figure out a way to incorporate technology more into the class. Okay, so technology, let's talk about technology, and we're going to do a little demo now. Okay, media learning at home, yeah. So, how many of you have ever done Kahoot before? Woo! Yeah, not everybody, that's good. Everybody's going to raise their hand. Everybody's going to already know this, so I'm glad that not many people have. So we're going to try it out. This is something that's so easy to set up, and you can use this in your class. You can use it in a huge class, in a big auditorium. And so what I would like for you to do is first to find 2 or 3 partners. And I know you hate to mingle and get to know everybody, but group up in groups of 3 or 4 if you can. Just get close together. You'll do better, I promise. It's a competition, okay? So you want to get together with a few people. Don't be on your own, okay?
We can drop it.
Okay. Next thing you need to do.
Be with you just a second, we can finish it. Projections are going to my job.
So you need, is there a microphone? Is this thing working? You need to figure out among you who has the best phone or tablet. Whoever has the best phone or tablet, you want to go on your mobile browser to kahoot.it. Pull up the browser on your phone and go to kahoot.it. Only one person in your group needs to pull this up, okay? Kahoot.it.
Is the bang part of it?
Kahoot.it.
Well, is the bang part of Kahoot?
Sorry?
Is the bang at the end part of the name? Kahoot?
No, no. There's no exclamation, okay? It's Kahoot, Kahoot.it. And you have to come up with a team name. Decide what your team name is going to be.
We just use it online.
Just go to the browser on your phone.
The gang of
It's coming.
You stick it in the game pin?
Here's the pin. 124-9565. Wait, but you should only have one phone per team.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
What do you want me to do it? You can't do it.
Actuary.
There is only one phone per team.
Okay, so we got.
Now you want nicknames?
Yeah, the actuary.
There must be one teacher. You
Some of you are having trouble connecting to the internet. Does anyone have a suggestion? Use the Wells Wi-Fi guest if you can't get in. Right?
We're there.
It's the links.
You know? Energy return.
Are we ready?
Mama revolution.
Are we ready?
Is that you, Jack?
Can we get started? We can go. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start the game. Okay? Are you ready?
Yep. Yes.
It's coming. In what country would you find large ancient geoglyphs known as the Nazca lines? Nazca.
It's asking for a hand.
Oh, pen. Does anybody know the pen?
126. 956.
Put it in. Time's up.
2495. Is that 8 correct?
Did you hear that?
Write it down.
You gotta be fast.
8 correct answers or 8 correct?
Everybody got it right? Except for the 2 that didn't.
We got it right, but we.
Does anybody know the pin?
Yeah, we can.
What pin?
1249565.
1249565.
Okay, so there's another question?
Will it let you join?
One chunk, right? One maximum size chunk.
I either know it from this train, Dr. So we're one down.
You don't want?
Test myself.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next question. Okay, so Red Sox is in the lead. Followed by Mama Bird. Did I say that right?
Oh, it's a speed.
Back row, Gang of Four.
Go Sox. Okay. So it's a time fixture.
Yes, it is time-based. If you get your answer in first, then you get more points.
That would be useful.
Sorry.
Yeah, because it's just discussing.
Learning curve here.
So, yes, learning curve, yes. This is the first time I've done this with a picture. Okay, ready for the next one?
We're ready.
The world's fastest growing plant is a species of what?
Excuse me.
Oh, no.
Speaking as a PhD in biology.
Okay, this is wrong?
A bamboo does not double its biomass in one day, and many species of algae do that.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't say if it's a sprint or a marathon, so we don't know.
Okay, yes.
It doesn't say if it's a sprint or a marathon.
Maybe all trivia questions I got.
I mean, who's the fastest human, the marathon?
Let's move on. I don't know. I see it. The quiz is wrong.
We know we're right.
That's not the point of this. Thank you. Okay, back row has taken the lead. Followed by Wells 101 and then Red Sox. Try to make it. There are only 5 questions, by the way. What is the official language of Greenland? Moving on. Back row is still in the lead. Who was the first president that was born a citizen of the United States? Back row is still in the lead. This is the last question. Lawrence Nightingale, 86 wounded during which war? Afro won, followed by the Red Sox, followed by the Okay, so that was fun.
We want to catch up. Keep going.
Rematch.
I did this with my daughter, and she's like, "Can you make another one? Can you make another one?" It takes time to make these quizzes.
But we are technically correct because algae is better than bamboo.
That's
Yeah.
what we thought.
I can see.
I love kelp.
Okay. Anybody have a memory of taking a test growing up and you got the answer wrong, but you knew it was right?
Yeah.
Happened a lot. Yeah. Okay, so we are running out of time, so
Did you pick the questions and the answers?
Do what?
Did you pick the questions and the answers?
I just went online and looked up trivia questions relating to science and the world,
So if
I
the
was in a
trivial
hurry.
answer was wrong, you wouldn't know.
Well, I tried to look it up on Wikipedia, but I think the issue was the definition of fast. So, but I gotta be fast here now because I'm out of time now. So let me just wrap it up. I was going to show you, and I don't have time for this, but I did an experiment this past semester using some engagement techniques with my students where I let them, instead of writing short essays for their weekly questions based on the reading, I let them create a website, and I show them a lot of different apps that are free. So Poplet, S'more, Canva, I let them use graphics, video, audio, cartoons. I just left it wide open. And students loved it. I was going to show some of their stuff. I can mail out the rest of my PowerPoint. So this is pretty much the end. I was going to share some feedback. Students really liked being able to make their own products and have a choice with how they answered questions. Dave?
You could let IT know about that too, so they know what to answer when the students come to us with questions.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, how do I use Poplet? Poplet really is cool. So let's see. Spend time getting to know your students. Create opportunities for group work and classroom community building. Provide opportunities for real-world problem solving beyond the classroom. And explore the use of technology and have fun with it. So, questions? We're out of time, but if you have a question, you can ask.
We're gonna get together after and.
Okay,
so
great.
thank you so much. Okay, we're running a little over, so I'm gonna ask that we have a really quick coffee and bathroom break, stretch break and so forth for 7 minutes. Let's try to get back here in 7 minutes, okay?
Wish me luck.
Remember to bring your
Thank you very much. This was fun.